What's good, everyone? OJ here. Welcome back to another video. Today we've got some fantastic information to go over, so let's go ahead and get right into it. And we're starting off with something that is 13 years plus in the making. For all of my old school fans out there, especially Nintendo DS fans, this has been something that we've been waiting for a very long time, and that is, yes, Neo, The World Ends With You, a direct sequel to the original The World Ends With You, has been announced for the PlayStation 4 and the Nintendo Switch after a decade of pretty much nothing, right? Of ports of the original game, really weird ports of the original game. So a little bit of history before we get into the actual topic here and the news with it. Originally released in 2007 in Japan, then later made its debut in the West in 2008. It was a brand new IP, and it was tailor-made for the Nintendo DS system, Nintendo's best-selling system of all time. The game ended up not doing as well as Nintendo and Square Enix would have hoped to, but fans really loved the style, the graphics, the gameplay. It was really unique and innovative, especially for its time before mobile gaming took over with touchscreens and everything. This game was crazy. You played it with the D-pad on one hand, and then you used the stylus and the touchscreen with the other hand, and you would go back and forth with two characters, one on the top screen, one on the bottom screen, and kind of transfer over this energy puck in order to fight enemies using the D-pad and using the stylus. It was crazy. It was sometimes frustrating, especially with people with big hands like myself, but it was still a memorable game that had a great story, great plot, and like I said, really used the DS hardware graphics-wise, music-wise, and also functionality-wise. So it stuck out and people remembered it. And it's because people remembered it and because people have such passion and love for the franchise that they decided to say, okay, let's put it over to mobile a number of years later. And then they gave it another shot after that on the Nintendo Switch in 2018 with the re-release of the game that actually had bonus and exclusive content that wasn't on the Nintendo DS version or the mobile version. So yes, that game does have a little bit of wonky controls in docked mode, but in portable, it plays perfect. So it's still the best place to play the game. And I know a lot of you guys are probably gonna be more excited to play the game now that we have this one coming out. But to get to the topic here, guys, so Square Enix has officially announced Neo, The World Ends With You for the PlayStation 4 and the Nintendo Switch. Now, it will launch in summer of 2021. So that's when they're targeting the game. Here's a little bit of an overview. Neo, The World Ends With You is a follow-up to the hit action role-playing game, The World Ends With You. Neo, The World Ends With You transports players to the streets of Shibuya. Apparently, Persona created Shibuya when it comes down to this, where they take part in the Reaper's Game, a life or death battle for survival. Players will take on the role of Rindo as they explore the heart of Tokyo to uncover the mysteries behind the sinister game in which they have been forced to take part. Neo, The World Ends With You brings a recreation of modern Shibuya to life in a unique and comic-inspired style. Players can explore and enjoy sights, sounds, and culture of this bustling city, fight monsters alongside their ally companions in fast-paced action battles, and complete missions as they seek to change the fate they've been handed. Now, they talked about the voice cast, which you guys can check out, link in the description below. You guys are seeing the trailer running as well, and like I said, this game is going to be phenomenal. I love what they're doing so far. So this game, for those who are maybe worried about the controls, because that's something that I've seen people talk about because of the Switch version of the game. But you have to remember this, okay, guys? Think about it as if you were a developer. Remember, the Switch version is based off of the mobile version, which is based off the DS version, which is based off of you using two separate hands, one of them controlling a stylus, the other one controlling a D-pad, two screens, and you moving back and forth between all of that. The way that the game was just made makes it to where they're gonna have to try to adapt that, which is why it went over to mobile. Then when they tried to put it on the Nintendo Switch, and heck, they didn't even try it on PS4, Xbox One, or PC or anything, they just said, we can't do this. for the most part, right? Because of the way that the game originally was and how it's set up to be played with a dual screen setup. That's why the controls are a bit wonky with the Nintendo Switch when it's docked. Now with this game, they have the PlayStation 4 and the Nintendo Switch in mind from the beginning, where it's not going to be a game that's based off of dual screens, which really messed up the other versions that are single screen, right? It's not going to be a game based off that. It's going to be an action RPG pretty much based off of the regular control scheme that you would see on a PlayStation 4 and also on the Nintendo Switch. Now, will there be some gimmicky things with some of the pins? Sure, maybe some gyro or some touch stuff here and there, but don't expect it to be just like how the Switch version was docked, okay? They're programming the game with normal modern consoles in mind with button controls, not with a touch screen and a D-pad where you're playing in two screens in mind. So the concern that I've seen about the controls, it's silly. On top of that, they heard all the complaints, so why would they keep that? They want to sell the game, so they're definitely not going to do that. Trust me on this one, guys, when it comes down to it. I know Square Enix when it comes to it. Trust me on this one. Now, when it comes to the game itself, PlayStation 4 and Nintendo Switch, obviously, a lot of Nintendo fans are very excited about this because this is the first time that this franchise, The World Ends With You, has appeared on something when it comes to like a dedicated game maker, right? Like Microsoft or Sony. It's the first time that it's ever come to anything else. It was on mobile, but that's mobile, iOS, whatever the case is. It's never been on a previous PlayStation platform or PC or something like that. So obviously a lot of Switch fans are very happy about this because there's two The World Ends With You games. Well, just basically a port, but still, you guys know what I'm saying here, right? There's two of them that you can play on Nintendo platforms. So I think this is very exciting for Nintendo fans that have loved the franchise and have supported it because from what I understand and what my numbers are tracking, The World Ends With You on the Switch actually did fairly well for what it was, 500,000 units plus. So Square Enix was obviously invigorated with those sales too to continue forward with it. I think we would have got something anyways, but at the same time they were doing the animation. I think it all just kind of fell in line. They ported the game over, they got the animation popping. That's going to be 2021, so it just made it the right time for The World Ends With You to come back, and I could not be happier. For PlayStation fans too, I'm going to buy the game on PlayStation. I'm going to buy the game on Nintendo Switch. I'm going to support them as much as I can. I'm going to watch the anime. I think it's going to be great, and I'm very happy for the game and for the fans because we've been waiting for a very long time for this. People have been asking for a sequel for a long time. It's been 13 plus years, guys. So what do you guys think about Neo, The World Ends With You, PlayStation 4, Switch, summer 2021? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. All right, and moving on to the next topic here, we have a massive Nintendo Switch Cyber eShop Black Friday spectacular that is going on. And literally, it would take me 20 to 30 minutes to go through everything, and none of us have the time for that. So what I've done is that I've chalked up 5 games, must-haves for me, that you should pick up on this sale, in addition to 5 indie games. So we'll have 5 bigger games, then 5 indie games, and then we can talk about it. So, starting from the top, The Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening, first party game, $39.99. That saves you 20 bucks on the game. It's Legend of Zelda, it's Link's Awakening. It's one of the best portable Zeldas out there, and it's a very good remake of the game. And Nintendo games don't go on sale. Nintendo first party games don't go on sale often. So if you've been looking to get some bite-sized Legend of Zelda action in, this game is more than big enough for that for your Nintendo Switch. Next up, Diablo 3 Eternal Collection on the Nintendo Switch. This game has held its value pretty good since its release. Now, what makes it different on the Switch? Well, the portable play, that's one thing. Pretty cool that you can take Diablo anywhere that you want for the style of game that it is, but it also has some extra bonus content with the Switch version. You can play as Ganondorf. Yes, that Ganondorf from The Legend of Zelda in Diablo 3 Eternal Collection. Plus, it comes with all the DLC and all the updates, and regularly gets updated. As soon as the game gets updated, Switch version gets updated as well. Performance and graphics-wise, still looks good, performs smooth, get all those benefits. So, Diablo 3, very good game. Next up, Ni no Kuni, Wrath of the White Witch. This is a game that pretty much caught me by surprise when it came out more than a decade ago on the PlayStation 3. And when they announced the Switch version of the game, I thought it would absolutely be perfect because it is a action RPG with some Pokemon style elements in there with the different monsters you collect and battle. So I think it fits right in at home with the Switch fan base, and this one's really good because it's only $14.99. That saves you quite a bit from the $49.99 that it regularly goes for. It's a very good game, great story, amazing graphics, Studio Ghibli. Highly recommend it. I even have a review on the channel that you guys can check out if you're still a little bit unsure on the game. But for 15 bucks, you can't go wrong with some Ni no Kuni action. Xenoblade Chronicles 2 plus Xenoblade Chronicles 2 Torna the Golden Country. Now you can get Xenoblade Chronicles 2 for $39.99. This game, pretty much, you can't find it in stores. Nintendo just said, we don't need to print any more physical copies of this game. But it almost never goes on sale, digital-wise. And it's $39.99. Now, I kid you not, this game legitimately has like 1,000 hours of content in there with everything that you can do in the game. So if you're looking to get the most value out of anything here, this just might be it. Between this and Diablo, these two games are definitely up there when it comes to value. Now, if you want to kind of complete your collection with this, because I think that if you get Xenoblade Chronicles 2, you have to know what happens beforehand. 500 years before the prequel, and that is Xenoblade Chronicles 2 Torna the Golden Country. That's $26.79. That's just great pricing. $26.79. This game gets you at least minimum 20 hours of content, and maximum I put 50 to 60 hours into the game. It's also very good. The story's beautiful. Went on a little bit newer engines, so the graphics are a bit crisper. It's a little bit easier to digest and play. And like I said, I love the flow and the story and the combat. They changed up quite a bit with the combat and made it even more involved than it was before, with the Vanguard system switching back and forth between your driver and your blade. It's actually really good, and they have a full tutorial in there, unlike Xenoblade Chronicles 2, which lets you kind of just figure things out. Torna actually has a very good tutorial in there built in, so you can kind of learn how to play a bit easier there. Fire Emblem Three Houses. Now, I don't think it's on sale on the eShop, but you can get it a cheaper price at GameStop. The game is $29.99. That's pretty much the cheapest that I've seen the game for the physical version. The physical version of the game. This game is crazy, okay? Fire Emblem Three Houses. If you're playing on the hard difficulty first time through, you're going to spend about 80-something hours in this game. That's how long it took me to beat the first playthrough. But then there's more. You have the extra playthroughs with the different houses, and different stuff happens between each house. You can spend 200 hours in this game easy, if not more for some people, especially if you get the DLC, which is 20 bucks, and it gets you some enhancements and stuff like that. So Fire Emblem Three Houses is definitely a pick. That's GameStop. You can get that for $29.99. Now, to run through some indie games real quick here, guys. Katana Zero, great indie game, awesome style, really innovative. I love Katana Zero. That's $8.99, down from the $15 that it usually is. Next up would probably be one of my picks for this whole video, even with the bigger games, and that is Hades on the Nintendo Switch. $20. This was the game that you guys saw pop up and get nominated so many times at the Game Awards, and people are like, whoa, what is this game, Hades? Well, it's a Nintendo Switch console exclusive for right now. It's on PC, but it's only on the Nintendo Switch console exclusive. It's a phenomenal game. I love the Greek mythology. It's really good. It's a roguelike type of game. I hated those type of games, but Hades made me like that game. I just like Hades, so highly suggest that. That's usually $25, down to $20. Next up is Bastion, which is the same people, Supergiant Games, $2.99. This originally came out on the Xbox 360. I remember buying it pretty much day one back then and thinking this game was absolutely amazing with the combat. It's down from the $15 that it is, so pretty good discount. And last but definitely not least, and trust me guys, there are a lot more deals and sales. I'll have the page for you guys. Go to the link in the description. Please make sure you look. There's games like Doom. There's all sorts of games. There's a bunch of Capcom games on sale, Resident Evil games. There are literally like 1,000 games or something like that on sale. There are so many. I just have to run down a few of my picks for the sake of time. But Shovel Knight Treasure Trove pretty much gets you all of the DLC, all of the extra content, all of the updates that they did for this game over the course of like 5 years or whatever they had with this whole Treasure Trove stuff where you playing as different characters and all sorts of stuff. It's 20 bucks. So value-wise, if you're on a budget, $20 digital on the eShop, down from the $40 that it usually is. So good stuff there. A lot of sales, first-party games, third-party games, all sorts of games, RPG, action, adventure, platforming, pretty much everything that you could want is on sale. So please make sure you guys check out the link in the description. Also, when I said Capcom Dragon's Dogma is on sale, that game's amazing. So yeah, make sure you check out that game too on the Switch. Really good price on that one too. So what do you guys think about Neo, The World Ends With You, and also this big eShop sale that's going down? What are your picks? What are you gonna get? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Alright guys, that wraps it up for this video here. Check out the links in the description. We've got Twitter. Go and give us a follow on there. Stay up to date on all the latest gaming news and information. Also make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and share this video if you can. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll catch you for the next one. Peace.